This is a quick lesson on some of the elements of Van Halen's Finish What You Started. And I'm not going to do a note-for-note playthrough because frankly, there's too much going on in this song for me to play it that way. So I thought I'd share with you some of the licks that I've learned and how I've learned them. So the first thing that's kind of useful, I think, is to know the chord structure that's behind what Eddie Van Halen's playing. And I'll play through it and then I'll describe it to you. Okay. Here, we'll turn that part down a little bit. Okay, so here you go. So that's the gist of it. What it is he's doing an E. It's an E power chord, meaning there's no third. It's just a root and a fifth. So if you take an E minor chord shape, and then you kill this, you don't want the G. In the case of an E minor, you don't want the G to be sounding. So you can fret on the third string at the fourth fret. You could fret the B there. So just like this. And then he goes to an A. Toggles, I think, between an A and an A7. Okay. Then as he's going into, I don't know if it's a chorus or a bridge or what, but he kind of goes to a B, to an A, to a C sharp minor, back to the E power chord. We could call this an E5. I guess a power chord is usually understood to be 3 notes only, or 3 strings. So it's commonly called an E5. But that idea where you're only playing the root 5. So that's sort of the background. And I think that's helpful to know. Because then when Van Halen's kind of tearing around, and he gets just enormously creative, of course, within these little licks, and he mixes them up. It's useful to know what's happening in the background. So, what's Van Halen doing? Well, here's the main lick. Okay, so you're doing it's a triplet, 16th note triplet, okay? And if you count it out, it's 1 and 2, 1 and 2 triplet, 3 and 4, 3 and 4 and... Okay, so that's useful to know what the rhythm is. He's coming in on the, most of the time, there's a few times where he doesn't, but most of the time he comes in on the and, on the 2, on the upstroke of the 2. And that has to be a triplet if you're going to play like him. Okay. So how do I do it? Well, you're on the open D string. Okay, and I just hammer on D to an E here at the 2nd fret, and then to a G at the 5th fret. It's not easy. And then after the G, you go to this A on the 3rd string 2nd fret, then to a B, 3rd string 4th fret, back to the G. You could do the open G, but I find it a lot easier to play them fretted. And then back to that E. Okay? And then he plays a portion of the same chord that Sammy Hagar's playing. So that's what Sammy Hagar's playing. Eddie Van Halen is just playing well, he might be playing 3 notes. And that's, so the E here, the 4th string 2nd fret, the B on the 3rd string 4th fret, and then I think the open B, the open 2nd string. And then when he gets that da-da, you fret the D here, 2nd string 3rd fret. So it goes like that. Okay, just like that. Then you go into the same beginning. Okay, so here, this is where the rhythm moves to an A chord. So you want to do that too. And so I think what he's doing is playing the 2nd and 3rd strings open, and then fretting them both at the 2nd fret. Okay, and then he frets a D here. Okay. Okay. So. Okay, this then is the 1st and 2nd string fretted at the 3rd fret on the 1st string and the 2nd fret on the 2nd string. And he bends them a little bit. Sometimes you play, I think he doesn't bend them, and then other times he gives it a little, maybe a quarter bend. Like that. Then he plays around. So that's the main structure of that lick, and he's just having a really good old time with it. And he does a lot of interesting things with it. So sometimes he goes like this. Okay, so what's he doing here? Well, he's playing the, I use my pinky and my ring finger. And go back and forth with the pinky. 2nd string 5th fret, 4th string 4th fret. And then down to a 2nd string 3rd fret, holding on to that B on the 3rd string 4th fret. So like this. And then other times he only plays a portion of the lick. He'll go, instead of going with the triplet, he'll maybe just start with the G here at the 5th fret of the 4th string. Okay, like that. So he plays around with it quite a bit. Now, at the part where Hagar is doing, I think, this B to an A, what Eddie Van Halen's going like this. Okay, so what is that? You're on the 3rd and 4th strings at the 4th fret, down to the 3rd and 4th strings at the 2nd fret. And then, okay, this is the 3rd and 4th strings fretted at the 2nd fret, and then I use a bar, or double stop you can call it, and then I just pivot my finger up so that I'm fretting the the third string open. Obviously I'm not fretting it, it's open, and fretting the fourth string on the second fret. Okay, so that's like either a portion of an E minor or I think more likely a portion of this A7. Okay, so. Okay, then he goes up to the 6th fret. Okay, and this is a portion of a C minor 7th chord. Sorry, a C sharp minor chord. A C sharp minor chord, which is what Hager's playing. Okay, so he's playing the 3rd and 4th strings up at the 6th fret. Okay, just like that. And then he does this little like okay. He plays it fast, of course. Okay. Okay, so what's he doing? Well, open A, so the 5th string open, hammering on at the 2nd fret and sliding up to the 4th. Okay, then you go to this E on the 4th string 2nd fret, and then back to the B, hammering on to the C sharp. Okay, and then this is like a D power chord maybe. 4th string open, 3rd string fretted at the 2nd fret, 3rd string at the D on the 2nd fret. Okay, then just a quick climb down there from a C to a B to an open, to an A, and that's all in the 5th string, 3rd, 2nd, open. Then he goes back into the main lick.